What's up, everybody? Oh, gosh, dang it. Gotta plug my microphone in. What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Habit Engineering. Cami, good to have you. Glad you're hopping on here. And we are gonna watch a video here called "Asking Millionaire Homeowners How They Got Rich," and then we are going to use the method to break down the advice given in the video so that it's actually implementable right from the get-go, right from day one, if you so choose. So, um, and you guys at any point in time can just go ahead, drop any questions you have down in the chat, any comments, or any habits that you are looking to implement yourself. Just go ahead, drop those in the chat down at any point in time, and we will roll on with it. But let's hop right into the video and yeah, get everything going.
Hello, sir. Quick question for you. We go all over the country just asking people a few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation.
Unless my stuff is not working. Restream.io. Okay, good update. Thanks, Cammy. Okay, not frozen, just lagging. Cool. We will let it lag then and let's play it.
Generation of kids starting out in the real world today. We thought you had a beautiful house. Wanted to know if we could ask you a few quick questions for the channel. Hey, he opened that up, so. And you guys see the Lamborghini. He's got the Aston Martin out. Got a whole bunch of cars. We gotta figure out what this guy did to be able to put himself here. Excuse me, sir. Is this your house?
It is.
What do you do for a living, man?
I own a
Los Angeles is the number 6 city in the entire world with the most millionaires. Today, we're gonna be going all over Los Angeles, Bel Air, Beverly Hills, and Calabasas, asking multi-million-dollar homeowners how they became successful and how you can start your path to becoming wealthy in 2023. We're right now in the hidden hills of Bel Air, one of the most expensive and wealthy neighborhoods in the entire country. And with that being said, let's get this video on the way.
Good intro.
Got a billion-dollar web app
ads,
idea?
bro.
Now you can turn it into reality with hosting or Horizon.
All right, here we go.
So growing up, I always used to hear about how
We'll skip ahead here.
Excuse me, ma'am. Quick question for you. My brother and I, we go all over the country. We're based in Austin, Texas. We grew a channel to over 2 million followers where we go all over the country just asking
this is an
beautiful
old
homeowners a few
video.
questions on their advice to the younger generation. Wanted to know if we could ask you just a few quick questions for the channel.
I'd love to. Come on in.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Thank you so
that's
much.
great. I
Appreciate
love
that.
you,
Thank you.
entrepreneurs.
How long have you been an entrepreneur for?
22 years.
What industry did you pursue a career in?
Well, I was a former model, but when that was over, I went into renovating homes and then
Let's see. Cammy said, current goal is still trying to draw at least once a week, as well as a new one of reading 1+ chapters of your TBR books. Awesome. Love it. Yeah, we love habits of reading. For anyone who's just hopping on, this is the Habit Engineer live stream, where we watch self-improvement videos and then break down the advice that they're giving using the Triple S method I developed to build habits that actually stick. So yeah, we're just hopping in here in the beginning of this video. If any of you guys have any questions, you can go ahead, drop them down in the chat. Any habits that you're looking to be more consistent with, drop them down in the chat, and we will get it going. But yeah, right now they're in California. So let's see.
building homes.
So you've been an entrepreneur for a long time now. Over that period of time, what's the greatest lesson about entrepreneurship that you've learned that you pass on to someone who's about to start their first business in 2023?
Well, one of the things that I love to teach my son is take a risk. Take a risk. You know, I had nothing, and I just believe that if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you do, then the chances are you will be a success.
What would you say has been the most amount of money that you've ever generated in
So let's break that advice down, right? If you say, I mean, maybe some people don't believe that necessarily. Um, um, yeah, some people might not necessarily believe that lady's statement, which is fine. But if you were to break down, let's just rewatch that little bit there.
business in 2023?
Well, one of the things that I love to teach my son is take a risk. Take a risk. You know, I had nothing, and I just believe that if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you do, then the chances are you will be a success.
What would you say has been the most amount of money that you
That's a tough one. It's definitely difficult. I think there's a good chance that that could happen. Um, it just depends on whether you give up or not. I've seen a number of videos where it's like, oh well, how do you know? Um, like, or there's a what am I thinking of? There's a Steve Jobs quote where he just says, "I'm convinced that like 85% of," and I'm not sure exactly what percentage is, but like 85% of whether an entrepreneur succeeds or not is whether they quit or not. Um, so I think there's a lot of truth to that, and just being able to see it through in that regard. A habit that you oh, what's up, Hot Icy? Good to see you, boss man. Um, a habit that people could actually implement in order to help them to persevere if they're starting a business or just doing really anything hard, is that they can um, practice some type of like positive affirmations type of deal, or um, it's like reciting something to boost their confidence in themselves. Um, and that, and then surrounding yourself with people who are going to push you, right? So making sure that the people that you're hanging around are people who are going to push you. Um, that's going to go a long way in helping you to actually be successful, whether it's in entrepreneurship or some other difficult thing in life that you might be facing. That's going to be the key.
you've ever generated in a single year?
Cover your ears, cover your ears, cover your ears. Well, my last property I made 3.5 million on my last property.
That's incredible.
Look at their face, look at their face. Now he definitely wants to come into my business, don't you? Yes.
Wow.
But I'll make more on this one.
How are you able to scale from 6 to 7 figures and then just from beyond there?
Yes. So I was very lucky that I was able to reinvest my profit over and over and over. And what that did
Dude,
was
this
that
kid
allowed
is so
me
funny.
to get larger and larger and larger. And then the other thing that you can do is do a 1031 exchange. And what that does.
Okay, so let's talk about reinvesting here. Like, she's just talking about compounding, right? The compound effect. Which frankly is no brainer. That's where there's a James Clear quote where he just says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement, right? And so essentially what you can do with money, where your interest compounds on itself by getting added to the principal every X amount of times that you compound, um, that same thing happens with your habits, and you're able to compound your growth as an individual by sticking with habits for longer and longer periods of consistency. Um, and you see that, I mean, you see examples of that all the time, but this is a good time when um, just kind of a good example of that working is with this lady's perseverance.
It allows you to push out your taxes because you roll in your profit into your next build. So that just allows you to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, you're going to say, okay, I've got to stop now.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very handy tool as well.
And my final question for you, you've got one of the most beautiful houses I've been in. This is a multi-million-dollar house. What would you say is the best advice that you'd pass on to the younger generation?
Well, I'm a great believer in hard work pays off, and so he actually has my gene. He is me. He's my mini me. So hard work, stay focused. I tell him this every day, don't I? Know your goal, focus on the goal, and don't stop until you get there.
I love it.
Okay, so how can we know our goal, focus on our goal, and not stop until we get there? That's a good. My video is like wigging out or something. That's a really good piece of advice. But let's break it down, right? So know your goal, focus on your goal, not stop until you get there. You can break that down into an individual habit every day, just by reciting what your goal is, making sure that you have one specific action that you are taking every day that pushes you towards your goal, and then making sure that that action or habit in this case could be is small and simple enough that it's like almost difficult for you to not do it, right? And so essentially, like, let's say your goal is you really, really want to become a doctor. I'm just making something up, right? But if your goal is that you really want to become a doctor, then and you know that goal, then the way that you can focus on it is you could say, okay, I'm going to study from my medical textbooks for 1 hour per day or 30 minutes per day or 15 minutes per day or something, right? Whatever it is that's small and simple enough for you, that you feel like you can be consistent with it. And then you put it in the format so it's specific enough. You put it in a what, a when, and a where format, right? So you would sit down and say, okay, from 7 to 7:30 p.m., I'm going to study and take notes on my medical textbook to achieve my goal of becoming a doctor every single day until the MCAT or whatever. And then you make sure and you say, okay, so from 7 to 7:30 p.m. sitting at my dining room table or something, right? Something that's so specific that you can visualize yourself completing it like you're watching a movie in your head, and you just keep that and make sure that it's small and simple enough that you can keep with it and stay consistent with it. So that way you don't stop until you get there, right? You want to remove as much friction in between you and the daily actions that are going to push you to get to your goal as possible. And incorporating the triple S method with breaking down your goals will allow you to do that. So let's keep the video on rolling here.
Phenomenal advice. Great interview. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that. Gio, thanks for joining us, man.
If you give employees a budget, they're gonna use the whole budget. Enter Navon, an all-in-one platform.
All right, you guys, that was an absolutely insane experience. She invited us into her house, was a former model, and is now a real estate developer in Los Angeles. One of the most competitive.
Dude, this video is so laggy.
She's a multi-millionaire. She's an absolute mogul. Had her son out to teach him the financial lessons, but you can tell he's gonna be very successful one day. Los Angeles is absolutely insane, man. Keep this going. Hello, sir. Yeah. Question for you. Thought you had a beautiful house. Want to know if we could ask you just a few quick questions.
No, I would like to opt out.
What's that?
I would like to opt out.
No worries, sir. Have a good day. Even though we started the day off with a crazy first interview, over the next 6 hours, we had no idea what was coming our way. Hi, my name is James Dumoulin. Wanted to know if we could ask you or someone a few quick questions on your advice to the younger generation.
You know, I'm kind of busy right now. Why don't you just move on? And I just don't really have time right now.
No worries.
Damn it, bro.
Hi, ma'am. Question for you. I started a channel that I grew to over 2 million followers. How you doing, sir? Just asking beautiful homeowners a few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation.
Yeah.
So what industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Software engineering, and then I turned it into marketing.
Are you a business owner now?
Yes.
And how long have you
Bro,
been a
this
business owner
video is
for?
so
I've
lagging.
been running my agency for 9 years.
You've had longevity as an entrepreneur for nearly 10 years now. 90% of businesses don't make it past 5 years. So what would you say is the most common mistake that business owners make that prevents them from having longevity?
Okay, so a couple things. I've run a startup and failed at building a startup. And the company wasn't a huge success. It ended up being acquired, but ultimately, like, it wasn't the multi-billion-dollar company I expected it to be. And in those days, it was like, don't get down on yourself, don't start second-guessing yourself, and just keep working at it. Every single day is a new day, and you can do something new with that. You can always keep trying to move forward. I think that's like the biggest thing, is like keep moving forward with everything that you're doing, right? Like, if there's a mistake that you made, or you don't see sales going the right way, just like keep trying and keep pushing at it and trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's a great habit. It's like just perseverance. That's gonna separate you from 99% of people in today's world. Because 99% of people just don't stick with something longer than 100 days, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Like, most people will give up on something after that point. Um, so which is, I think it's at least in part due to a product of the fact that we have turned most of our attention spans into that of a goldfish, so it becomes a little harder to really stick to things. But and I'm no uh I'm no exception to that. um but yeah, again, like the triple S method, just breaking something down, like whatever you want to stick to, just breaking that down by making it specific and then small and simple enough that you can stick with it every day. Like, that's going to be the key to being able to persevere and be persistent with it.
Out like what you can do to get to that next level, but also like make decisions. I think the biggest thing that's helped me in my career has been, I'm very quick to make a decision. I feel like I can make a decision in a split second, and I don't overthink things and don't worry about too many things. I just jump.
Okay, so that's a good one. And I've got a habit that people can implement. So when Jeff Bezos was deciding whether he was gonna do Amazon or not, he was leaving he was choosing between Amazon, right, at the beginning of the internet and knowing nothing, um, or I'm pretty sure it was like a multi six figure cushy job that he enjoyed, and he had a great boss that he liked, and was like a really good environment. Um, and he used something called the regret minimize that I don't know if he calls it this or he learned it from someone else. He calls it the regret minimization framework. So essentially, he just thought about the situation that he was in, and he said, okay, on my deathbed, if I don't do this, will I regret it? And if the answer is yes, then you do that thing. And if the answer is no, then you don't do that thing. Um, there's another framework that you could implement as a habit when you're making decisions uh, to help you. And I'm trying to remember if there's a name for it or not. But essentially, it's just that if you're thinking about doing something and you have to make a decision on it, if your answer isn't like heck yes 100% I'm down, then your answer should be no. I think that's Naval Ravikant. But yeah, if like when you're making a decision, you can make that a habit to sit down. Uh, like at the end of each day, you say, okay, what's one decision that I need to make today? Write it down, write down what the decision, like what the choices you have between are, or type it up on your phone or something, and then say, okay, is my answer heck yes to go and do this thing? And if it's not, then boom, I'm not doing it. Or you can use the regret minimization framework. And if you say for from 8 to 8:30 p.m. every day, you set aside like a mental time to sit down and make one big decision that you need to per day, you're going to be able to make a lot of those decisions, get a lot of that done pretty quick, which I think would be, I think that would help a lot of people who struggle with indecisiveness when it comes to decision making. Um, just do that, sitting on the couch, laying down in bed, wherever. But make sure you give it that what, when, and where, and make it small and simple enough that you can stick to it.
Right in. Early on, I always just was like, I hustled. I figured out how to like get stuff done, and I never took any shortcuts, is what I'll say.
You've got great advice. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
and one last final thing, any advice to someone who wants to own a Porsche one day? This is a multi-$100,000. This is a lot of people's dream car. Any advice?
It's my dream car. When I was a kid, I actually used to always go to the auto show with my dad, and I'd get the 911 like posters or like pamphlets or whatever, and I'd hang them up in my room, and it's been my dream car. Just work hard.
Michael taking off.
Another
Success
ad.
doesn't happen overnight. It starts with 5 focused minutes each morning. Every morning.
Hard, invest well, save, and go for it.
All right, you guys, my man was driving down the street in the Porsche, and we yelled at him from outside of the car, "Excuse me, sir." We let him know about the channel and what we do, went up to him and asked him some questions, and turns out he was a beast entrepreneur, a marketing multimillionaire, started out as a software engineer, transitioned. A few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation of kids starting out in the real world today. We thought you had a beautiful house, wanted to know if we could ask you a few quick questions for the channel.
Oh, man, I love Austin, of course, man. I'd love to help you guys out.
That's amazing. Is it cool if we come in? Hey, he opened that up, so.
You can definitely tell from his
Yeah,
older
see, the
videos that
Lamborghini, he's got the
James
Aston
has
Martin
gotten a
now,
lot more
got a whole bunch of
confident
cars.
with
We gotta
this.
figure out what this guy did to be able to put himself here. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up?
Man, you got a beautiful house here.
Thank you.
Are you from Los Angeles originally?
Well, I was born in Colombia. I came here when I was 6 years old.
How did you end up in Los Angeles?
So my parents, they had this dream to come to the U.S. and unfortunately it became a nightmare because 2 weeks after we came to the U.S., our home got raided by law enforcement and both my parents ended up in jail.
How were you able to bounce
Dang.
back from that? Kind of like going through that at an early age. Like what was the turning point that really allowed you?
What's
to
up,
kinda do
Harry?
all of this?
Good to see you,
10
boss.
years old when they really put my dad away for a long time. I made him a promise that I'd take care of the house, and I became the head of household at 15 years old, and I got a chance to start working early, and then I started hustling.
You got a super nice spot here. This is
Yeah.
a multi-million-dollar home. Could we check out the spot a little bit inside?
check it out.
Awesome.
Dang, this guy's way chill. What's up, Lily Pad?
What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Home security. I've had that now for 25 years, and I just started a solar company a year and a half ago, which just happens to be the 20th fastest growing company in Inc. 5000 magazine.
How old were you when you started your first business?
I was 21 years old.
21. And how old are you now?
I'm 46.
What's the most amount of money that your business has ever generated in a single year?
It'll be this year. We'll do 200 million.
Scaling is one of the hardest things to do as a
Dang.
business owner. A lot of people, they'll have that great idea, but they don't know how to scale and grow it. So how have you been able to scale to a 9-figure business?
It has to come back to influence, right? Because to bring in good people, they have to believe
Yes.
in you.
Yes, I
You know,
am
your
having
dream's gotta
fun.
be so big that everybody's dream can fit inside of it.
Oh, I've heard that quote before. Your dream has to be so big that everybody's dream can fit inside of it. I think that applies specifically to like business owners or entrepreneurs. It's not necessarily true for everyone everywhere, I think. But yeah, it is a good principle to live by if you're trying to like push from a financial sense. Hmm. Yeah, it's good. I like that.
Because again, the good people, they have a lot of options, but you got to take the first step. Faith is really taking action before you have what you need. I remember as soon as I started,
So let's break that down. Faith is really taking action before you have what you need. Like what's a habit that you could implement that would actually allow you to do that? On like a daily level. And I would say I think it's definitely gonna depend for everyone. Or it's gonna look different for everyone with everyone. Yeah. And Harry, no, I have not. I do not watch the news. I don't study politics at all. But let's watch that bit again because I forget what they say.
Good people, they have a lot of options, but you got to take the first step. Faith is really taking action before you have what you need. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, faith is really taking action before you have what you need.
Options, but you got to take the first step. Faith is really taking action
before you have what you need. Okay. I think that's. How could you break that down? That's a good. It's a good thought process. Let's see. So if I was to say faith is taking action before you have what you need, how can you take action before you have what you need on a daily level with a daily habit to build that faith? Huh. If anyone in the chat's got any ideas, I'd love to. No, you didn't, Cammy, you didn't miss anything. I just don't. Harry was talking about if I've seen what Donald Trump has been up to, and I haven't. Oh, awesome. Love that. Proud of you for starting a new book. Oh, Cammy, do you have any ideas for a habit that you could build that would allow you to practice the principle that faith is taking action what was it? Without
before you have what you need.
or before you have what you need? I'm trying to think like how could you implement that principle on a daily level? Oh wait, that's easy. You can just pray. Yeah. Because prayer is an action that you could take to ask God for what you need before you actually have it. And that would be showing faith. Yeah. So just have a prayer in the morning and ask God for what you need. Boom. There you go. 5-minute prayer, 7 to 7:05 a.m. in your bed or kneeling by your bed or something. Yeah, that would work great. I like that.
Yeah, I remember as soon as I started the home security company.
Yeah, it does depend on the definition of faith, but
the people, because we used to go in minivans and I used to fill all of them up, and we used to go door to door. I didn't have a team yet, but I bought the minivan knowing that the people were coming. When you put money behind something, that's when you know you're committed. I call it a necessity level. A necessity level is this sudden willingness that untaps this tremendous amount of ability that you didn't know you had. That's why I've always been great at putting myself in pressure situations that increase my urgency level. I believe low stress
that's
is
a
low
good point.
performance. But when you put yourself in these uncomfortable situations, that's when that greatness that lies within comes out.
I 100% yeah, I'm talking like a god faith, I guess. This that's a really good point. Let's rewatch that part.
Door. I didn't have a team yet, but I bought the minivan knowing that the people were coming. When you put money behind something, that's when you know
not quite this
I call
part,
it a
but
necessity level. A
right
necessity
here.
level is this sudden willingness that untaps this tremendous amount of ability that you didn't know you had. That's why I've always been great at putting myself in pressure situations that increase my urgency level. I believe low stress is low performance. But when you put yourself in these uncomfortable situations, that's when that greatness that lies within comes out.
What's been your secret to sales? You know, you've
Yeah. What's up, Siraj? Let's say you're going with a complete trust or confidence in something, then it could be something as simple as just taking the leap or trying or pushing through. Yeah, and I think that kind of goes in line with what he's saying right here.
Performance. But when you put yourself in these uncomfortable situations, that's when that greatness that lies within comes out.
Like you're able to I have no clue what lily pad is talking about. But like when you're if you like had a habit to do one thing that made you uncomfortable per day, like I think that would be killer. I think that would be super helpful in just pushing yourself to become more as a human being. Because most people like well, actually everyone, right? It's human nature to try to avoid change, try to steer away from uncomfortability. We only really want to go where we're comfortable. But if you can find something that pushes you out of your comfort zone, even just a little bit every single day, um, then you're going to be able to increase that comfort zone every single day. And when you do that consistently, it'll compound over time. So your comfort zone just becomes everything, right? You become afraid of nothing in theory. Obviously, I think that would take more or less a lifetime to do, which maybe that explains why old people are so unafraid of what other people think. Is because they've just had a long enough time with life. Huh, that's interesting. It's an interesting thought. But um yeah, I think that's very super cool. Let us watch.
What's been your secret to sales? You know, you've sold hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue at your company throughout your career, but how have you really been able to land big deals with massive clients over all these years?
I've always gone out of my way to validate the business that I'm in to give me confidence. So like when I started selling home security, going door to door, I would look up articles of home invasions. I would look up fire accidents that were happening. And what that did is it filled me up with belief, with confidence. And that's important because the more certain person will always influence the less certain person. People don't have to believe what you're saying, they have to believe that you believe what you're saying, because everything's a transfer of belief.
You've generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue throughout your career. What has been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
One of the great things that I did when I first started was I would split my check 3 ways and I would live on a third of it. One would go towards IRS and savings, and then the other one would go towards a reserve account that no one could touch. You could call me and ask me for money. To me, that reserve account did not exist.
That's a really smart habit. I hope you guys notice that. Just like so just to reiterate, like that um splitting your habit 3 ways and or sorry, not splitting your habit 3 ways. Splitting your paycheck 3 ways. One that goes into a reserve account that you don't touch, the other third that goes towards your IRS and savings, and then a third that you live off of. Like, that's pretty genius. And I bet for people are like who are like, how do you do that? Well, you can. I mean, most 9 to 5s or W4s or whatever can just have their company set that up for them where they can just pay different accounts. Either that or you could set it up within your own bank account to automatically transfer um, that money out every according with every paycheck. That's a that's a really smart habit. That's genius.
And that reserve account has always helped me through tough times, because in life and pain are inseparable, and you're going to have to go through some tough times. Because I like nice things, but being able to cut it 3 ways allowed me not to live outside my means. Right. That said, I was huge on having nice things. It's what made me want to work hard. You know, I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be rare. You know, at 21 years old, I wanted to be the first 21-year-old in my city driving a Mercedes convertible. I didn't want to do it when I was 28, because by then everybody had a Mercedes, right? So just little ways that I would compete against myself. I mean, if you don't come from a rich family can come from you. And I made the decision in my
That's a good quote. If you don't come from a rich family can come from you. I like that.
family that I was going to be the one person that changed my family tree forever.
Guys, that's a wrap.
Dang. Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. Let's see. Yeah. Love it. Does anyone have any habits that they're looking to be more consistent with, or any questions on the habits that we talked about in this video? Um, any thoughts, comments, concerns? Drop them in the chat. Looks like we got a couple people on here. Definitely getting a lot less engagement recently. So I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, I think so. You're good, Kimmy. Hmm. I wonder if I can offer Hunger Games quotes or Greek myth facts. That's all good. It has been fun hanging around. I appreciate you hanging around. Um, so I'm trying to think. I would love your opinion on like which do you find more beneficial? Um, the original, like when we are just going back and forth, and I was just getting people to generally seem to get more engagement when talking in chat versus reacting. Yeah, I definitely do. I feel so. What's interesting is like I feel like I'm able to communicate more value to my audience by breaking these people's habits down into like specific habits that people are able to implement. Um, like I feel like that's more valuable, um, just from a time series. Um, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like I could just record this and then post these breakdowns as like standalone videos rather than and then uh do the OG style where I'm just interacting with the chat as a live stream. Yeah, and maybe go back and forth eventually. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you're right, like people. Oh, true. Yeah, getting rid of flag issues. That would be really good because then I don't have to stream it. So I could just record it over here on OBS and it's not lagging at all. And then post those videos. Um, and then stream. Yeah, I think I like that. Because I could pretty easily break those down into shorts. Huh. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's a good idea, Cammy. Yeah, honestly, like if I just recorded myself breaking down one of these, like one of my YouTube videos that I like per day, that would be some good content. That would be some good content. Yeah, I could edit out the ads. Yeah. Yeah, it would double as shorts and long form content. I think that's definitely a move, actually. Rohan, how are you in the top of your class? Was there a new semester or something that started? There must have been a new semester. No offense. Let's see. So if I No, you're just smart. Nice. The two moods I have: quotes, memes, or genuine YouTube advice. That's funny. Uh yeah, I'm basically like all quotes slash advice slash comments. That's like me 99% of the time, and then like 1 to 2% of the time I'm just like a complete goofball. Filming the vids 100% smart move, even if you do mix them into streams too. Yeah, I think for right now, like since I'm just starting the streams out, I want to keep them as engaging as possible, which means just going back and forth and talking with people. But once I have like 20,000 subs or something, I think it might be more beneficial, or it might be easier to actually, you know what? Screw it, dude. Like I like just talking back and forth with people in the chat. That's fun. So I'll just keep doing that, and then I'll just also do this and not mix them into the stream anymore, but still produce the content. Yeah. Yeah. I think that is smart. Thanks, Cammy. It was your idea. So you're smart. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. I'm not ignoring anyone. Um, yeah, and then like I actually really liked when I was live streaming and I was just out on a walk. So I think I'm just gonna go do that. Like just go live stream on a walk every day and enjoy myself, and then still get the benefit of the extra content like this. Yeah. There we go. Money. Oh yeah, there've been a couple walk streams, like 2 or 3, I think. I just went out on a walk. It was fun. It was cute. Don't What do you mean don't dox myself? I don't know what that means. Oh, my address gets shown. Yeah, that's a good point. I will I will not do that. A bunch of people have been asking me where I live, and I just always say Arizona. It's like, yeah, they're never gonna find me there. Okay. Yeah, that's really good actually. There's a um there's a Napoleon Bonaparte quote, which he is also literally a psycho. But this is a good quote where he just says, "Do everything and you will win." Um, and so I think, well, not I think that does work. And if you can find something, I just filmed my podcast episode earlier today for the book Unbroken. Excuse me, phenomenal book. Um, I'm excited to put the podcast episode out there, but I think um between the podcast, live interviews, the live stream, and or sorry, not live interviews, but the in-person interviews. Um, and me breaking down one YouTube video that I want to watch per day, like with habits, I think that's going to be fire actually. And that'll give us a ton of content. It'll be, yeah, that'll be really good. Boom, 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 boom. Yo, what's up, Andrew? Good to see you, big dog. Oh my gosh. This would be so cute. What if my habit was to go on a walk every day for my live stream, and then I invited everyone else to go on a walk with me when they were joining the live? So we're all just walking together while on the live stream, and we're all getting a good habit in. That obviously wouldn't work for everyone, but that'd be really cute. Let me know your thoughts on that idea. A walk live for everyone. A walk stream. The Habit Engineer walk stream, baby. That's actually kind of sick. Andrew, I definitely don't know what to say. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I recognize that not everyone would be able to join, especially when I've got a million subs, but there's plenty of people who would, and I think that would be a cool way to like create a sense of community. And it's what I want to do anyways, so I'm just gonna do it, you know? Just do it. For like a little 30-minute walk from 6 to 6:30 p.m. The Habit Engineer walk stream. Break down habits as we're walking and build a habit as we're walking. Just talk about whatever. Oh yeah, that's so cute. I'm totally down. This is fun. Yeah, that would be super neat. All right, but okay. Um I think that's everything I've got for today. Unless anyone else has any habits that they're looking to be more consistent with, that they want to drop down in the chat. Any questions, comments, concerns on the video that we watched. And broke down some of the habits on. That would be cool. And yeah, I think starting tomorrow, we're gonna turn this into the habit engineer walk stream, baby. That's gonna be so sick, actually. I love it. Okay, bet, done. 30-minute walk stream. 30-minute walk stream. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yep. See you tomorrow, Kami. Keep the change. Keep changing. Appreciate you and your advice. That's actually really good advice, and I'm gonna use it and implement it to great success. So thank you.